Could predict whether a child as young as 3 months is at risk of developing autism.
Right now, most children can't receive a reliable diagnosis until 12 months. But as Boston 25 News reporter Heather Hedges tells us, the hope is that one day it will lead to not just early detection, but prevention.
What does a lion say? Roar.
Chase Minakuchi seems to be a typically developing toddler. He's learning to point and use words to express his needs. But Chase and his mom, Hillary, are at Boston Children's because Chase has been identified as at risk. He has an older brother who is 7 who has autism.
Did the testing, and one day after his 4th birthday, the doctor said, so your son has autism.
Hillary and her husband also have a 6-year-old daughter who does not have autism. But autism is more prevalent in boys, and research shows 1 in 5 children whose siblings have autism will also be on the spectrum. So Hillary spent the first year of Chase's life watching his behavior like a hawk and worrying.
I was literally making myself crazy over it.
But Hillary got Chase into a study at Boston Children's Cognitive Neuroscience Lab involving 99 siblings of children with autism.
Look at that bubble.
Infants as young as 3 months old and toddlers up to 36 months spend only a few minutes wearing this cap with over 100 sensors. The TV showing cartoons is also an eye tracker. Director Dr. Charles Nelson says by studying their EEG signals, the electrical activity in the brain, they can predict which infants are likely to develop autism.
The overall finding is they tend not to look at faces as much as children who have no risk factors. What we've seen is that at 3 months of age, we see patterns of brain activity that basically predict who 3 years later will develop autism.
One of the big unknowns is when is autism developed? Does this shed any light on whether it happens prenatally or after birth?
It's very unlikely that brain development was perfectly normal until birth and then something happened. The fact that we see it so early, just at 3 months, makes me think that it started before birth. But what derailed brain development, we don't know.
Dr. Nelson stresses we're not at the point yet where a 3-month-old can be diagnosed, but he or she could be flagged. And the next step is developing early intervention strategies for that age group.
Can we develop an intervention that will prevent those kids from developing autism?
Ready, set, go.
As for Chase Minakuchi, right now he doesn't seem to be exhibiting some of the warning signs. And his mom says that's given her some much-needed reassurance.
All right, I can start to enjoy my baby now.
And because the EEG caps are relatively inexpensive, Dr. Nelson hopes someday soon every local pediatrician's office could have one, and all infants could be identified within a critical window of time. I'm Heather Hedges, Boston 25 News.